welcome to the very first Bonsai Socials podcast. I am so excited to be doing this. This is so out of my comfort zone, if I'm going to be honest. But we don't go in our comfort zone. But I thought for the first episode, I would just give people a little bit more of an introduction to me, my background, how I came into marketing, all those kind of things. And yeah, just introduce me as your host. A little bit about my story, how I came to work in social media. So I've always been quite an artistic person, if I'm honest. During school, I always did like graphics and art and all that kind of thing. Like, I've always been quite creative, but I've always been quite like analytical. Don't get me wrong, I'm not a maths person, but I've always, like economics and stuff like that, I've always been interested in. So I kind of did those mix of subjects while I was at school. And then when I went to university, I did a marketing degree. I actually graduated in COVID. What a time to be alive. I feel like, me and my friends were talking about this the other day, that every time you mention COVID, it's like, it just feels like such a strange time in your life, doesn't it? Like, I just can't, it was just so like dystopian. But anyway, graduated, in COVID, like right as it was kicking off at the start, and came home, spent literally months applying to jobs. I probably sent out, I don't even know, I wouldn't even want to think how many job applications I sent out. But I sent a lot out, and I managed to get a sales role in a waste management company, which I found super useful because it is the other side of marketing, isn't it? Like, I'm a big believer that from my experience in sales and obviously my time in marketing, I think they can be, when the two departments work together, it can be so like complementary. I've said that right. I did that for about a year, and then I got my first role in the marketing world as a digital marketing manager for a local agency near me. I worked there for a couple months. I then went to work for the NHS for a year, and then I worked in a personal branding agency for, I think it was about a year and 8 months, up until the start of this year. But to rewind a little bit, as I was transitioning from let's rewind even further actually, because sorry, that would miss out a big part. But so at the start of 2022, while I was working at the NHS, I started posting on LinkedIn more frequently, started building my personal brand. And then a couple months later, in about August time, where I was going to start when I was transitioning to my role at the personal branding agency I worked at, I got messages from my first 2 clients asking if I offered any social media management services on a freelance basis. And it's something that I'd never really considered. Like, I never really thought about becoming a business owner because it's not something I was exposed to in my childhood, and it's not saying like my parents worked extremely hard, like they gave us amazing holidays, like they rose the ranks in their corporate kind of jobs, and they did extremely well for themselves, really well. So it's not like me saying that I wasn't exposed. I don't mean it as a bad thing. It's just the people in my life and my family had never really taken the business owner route. Like, it wasn't like I was, all my family were like entrepreneurs. So I think it was just that I wasn't really exposed to that path. So I obviously just, went down the normal path. So I remember like when I got these first 2 inquiries, I remember like very excitingly saying to my boyfriend like, I was just a bit shocked. I was like, why? I just think it was just something I'd never considered up to that point. And this is a true story. Like, I posted about this on LinkedIn actually a couple of months ago, I think. I was really close to saying no because I was like, the idea of being self-employed and being a business owner kind of scared me at the start, if I'm being honest. Again, because I hadn't been exposed to this kind of path for your career. But I decided to do it because I'm big on like, if opportunities come to you, then I feel like I need to take them kind of thing and see where they go. So I decided to go for it. And from like August 2022 till the start of this year, I was freelancing alongside my full-time job. I picked up another 3 or 4 clients last year. Obviously freelancing grew quite slowly because I was doing it on the side of my full-time job, and to be honest I wasn't really pushing it. I didn't really set it up as a business, I just set it up as me being like self-employed. So it wasn't, I say my business owner journey started then, but obviously it's properly started really in terms of like registering the company and that stuff in the last couple of months. I left the full-time working world. This is something that I haven't really spoken about on LinkedIn, I haven't really spoken about on my Instagram, more because it's something that I'm just trying to move past. At the start of this year, I was at like a crossroads really. Various things were happening in the background, which kind of like forced me into a situation, let's just say. To me, I kind of viewed it as a crossroads, and it was kind of like, well, do I carry on the way that I'm going, and do I just do a few jobs on the side, and you know, like, does it just stay like this and I do it alongside my full-time job, or do I take a part-time job, and do I like devote even more time to this and, you know, really take this idea further and try and set it up as a business and all this. And I obviously decided the route to try and set it up as a business, which it has now been. And yeah, I think that is like a good whistle-stop tour of where we're at today. That is my story into entrepreneurship, freelancing, how freelancing has turned into a business, and all of that wonderful stuff. It has been an absolutely crazy ride. Like I said, and this sounds so cliche, LinkedIn has changed my life. It's completely changed my life, because I wouldn't have started a business without it. Or I don't know, I might have got to this point and, you know, started having these thoughts about being a business owner. But yeah, that was obviously, that post on LinkedIn was the catalyst for me, and building my personal brand has led me to start this business. And it's just, yeah, it's crazy, because if you would have asked the 18-year-old version of me who had just left university, was like, yeah, sorry, I wasn't 18, I was 21, God, I started university at 18, but if you'd asked the 21-year-old version of me what my career would have looked like in my 20s, I probably would have told you like, oh, climbing the corporate ladder, you know, what everyone else does. But like, starting this business was a happy accident. It was the best accident of my entire life. It is the best unplanned turn of events that has ever happened to me, and I wouldn't take back any of it at all. Even though it wasn't like, yeah, it wasn't like I left uni and was like, yep, I want to be a business owner. I'm fully on that track right now. So yeah, that is a little bit of an introduction to me. So I also just wanted to quickly speak about what we offer at Bonsai Socials. If you haven't come across us before, I obviously don't want this to be like, this is a podcast, this is not a sales pitch. And I'll go on to this. The point of this podcast is not to be, you know, like selling you loads of stuff. We are a social media and personal branding agency that helps purpose-led brands. And by purpose-led, because I feel like the term purpose-led, purpose-driven can be quite misunderstood. It's quite a broad term. Not a lot of people understand, like, or some people don't understand if their business is purpose-driven. And for us, the main thing is that we would love to work with brands that want to do good. And that really isn't any capacity. It could be that you want to do good for the environment, you want to help people with specific problems, like just any brand that kind of has a mission stronger than just profits. And don't get me wrong, you know, you have to think about, you're a business, you have to think about profits, you have to think about keeping afloat. But yeah, I guess it's businesses that also have that really strong drive to help people, you know, the profits that they want to make are because they want to help people, if that makes sense. And I thought I'd delve a little bit into why we would love to work with, and we do work with, brands like that, is because, and this is something very personal to me. So I have lived my entire life with anaphylactic allergies. So they're like life, for anyone who doesn't know what an anaphylactic allergy is, it's basically a life-threatening allergy. So if I'm allergic to nuts, peanuts, sesame seeds, those are my anaphylactic allergies. And if I was to accidentally, like through cross-contamination, or like it was in a dish that I ate, if I was to accidentally eat any of those 3 allergens, then I could die if I don't get medical attention. I think it's within, I should know this, but it's within like 10 or 20 minutes. It's a very scary condition a lot of the time. Like I said, I've lived with them all of my life, and in recent years, as I've kind of have tried to navigate the adult world with allergies, I've come across a lot of brands on social media, like allergy brands, that have helped me and opened up so many opportunities for me in terms of like travel, eating out safely, just like making people's education around allergies better. So as I've experienced firsthand how much purpose-led brands can just transform people's life. Like, I don't mean really transform it. Like, I don't think I would be able to do 75% of the things that I do if it wasn't for the help that these brands give me in loads of different ways. And obviously my expertise is social media, so I want to help more people experience the benefits that like I've had from purpose-led brands, but obviously through helping the brands, you know, helping purpose-led brands create more impact on social media, reach more people, you know, get more people on board with their mission, amplify their voice. Because like I said, I have literally found so many brands through those social media that have changed my life, and I want to help other people do the same, but by helping those brands like really understand how they can utilise social media and change the way they utilise social media so they can help and change people's lives. And I wasn't going to include this, but maybe I should, because I feel like every time I say to people the name of the business, they're like, oh, why bonsai? So my parents moved, I think about a year and a half ago now, and anyway, they were doing up their study and they had like a graduation picture of me, and they went out and bought this bonsai tree, like this fake bonsai tree, and they put my graduation photo next to this bonsai tree, and then they kept on like, and then it was mentioned once or twice, and then it became a running joke of like bonsai Beth, because like Beth and bonsai, like BB, and then my picture was next to a bonsai tree, and it just became like a running joke. And they were like, oh, you know, if you take your freelancing further, then that could be your business name, like bonsai something. And when I was like obviously thinking about, you know, officially like making the business a limited company, I was thinking of names and like what could I name it. And actually I thought, one, I really loved like the idea of including bonsai because of that little like joke, and then two, because, you know, it like strategically it fits, like bonsai, obviously it's a tree, like it grows organically. I specialise on organic social media, so yeah, that is where the name bonsai came from. The last thing to cover in this specific episode, because I don't want this to be too long, I just want this to be like a short sweet introduction to me, is what you can expect from this podcast, of course. And what you can expect is a lot of chatter about social media and personal branding. Yeah, on a serious note, I just want this podcast to be a place where you can come and you can find out more about social media and personal branding. We'll be diving into social media and personal branding. One of the key things we do at the agency is we do mix social media and personal branding, because I truly think that is the way that it's going, that you need a brand, like you need a social presence for your brand, but actually your founder needs a personal brand. You know, you see it with the likes of like Amy from Odd Muse and Grace Beverly, you know, with her 3 brands, and how successful they've been because they have that personal brand. So like I said, that's why this is going to be like social media and personal branding. So like brand, social media accounts, and then personal branding is the things that we're going to dive into. So yeah, like I said, so you can kind of feel equipped with all this knowledge that you can go and smash your social, smash your personal brand, and start really seeing results from your efforts. I'm going to leave this episode here. I cannot wait to release more podcast episodes. I really hope you love them all. Follow and subscribe to watch more podcast episodes, and obviously if you have any suggestions of topics that you'd really like me to cover, then please do let me know via my various social media channels, which should be all linked together. Send me a message or leave a comment. Just, yeah, if there's anything that you feel really stuck with and you just love an episode around, then